Hello, everyone.
Hello, it is Monday. Yay.
This is part 3 of a series on important factors for a company's success. The first one we did was factors that seem important, but really are not important for a company's success. Last week we did part 1 of important factors for a company's success. And then today we're doing the final part.
Let's get to it. I'm excited.
Yeah. So last week we did 2 points. If you want to know what those are, go watch that video. So we're going to start with point 3, which is what?
Effective and superior compensation plan.
Yeah. You don't want one that's just effective. You also want one that's superior as well. So a poor compensation plan. Oh, I do want to point this out that this information was transferred from a newsletter that Mike Akins sent out. So if you would like to be on his newsletter list, then you can email support@professionalnetworkers.com and just say something like "4Life newsletter, please add me" with your email.
In the subject line.
Yes, in the subject line. You have to put 4Life at the very least, but then give a little bit of context. So, okay. Mike shares that a poor compensation program is one of the top reasons MLM companies fail. A poorly designed compensation plan will cause attrition, and attrition will leave a company with falling revenue while paying for loans, oversized facilities, too much inventory, and high investments in personnel.
Right.
So, for example, a Newsweek article reporting on MonaV's 2007 income disclosure statement stated fewer than 1% qualified for commissions, and of those, only 10% made more than $100 a week.
Wow.
The Salt Lake Tribune wrote, the top 7 MonaV distributors earn an average of $3.4 million a year.
Well, they're all of it's going into them.
Yes, the rest of the distributors were left shortchanged,
Wow.
obviously. This is all due to the compensation strategy. So let's go through some aspects of an effective and superior compensation plan, since we have an example of one that is not.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Absolutely. So the first one is a compensation plan that effectively addresses all 7 categories of distributors. We talk about this all the time. And generally, this can be kind of difficult because in the mind of the designer, grassroots distributors compete with heavy hitters for a share of the money going into the pay plan. So more often than not, they don't have a balance that allows each category to be satisfied with the rewards for their efforts.
Yeah.
So this affects every category of distributor because attrition will start at the bottom and eventually trickle up to affect those heavy hitters. So how does 4Life fit into this? 4Life has a pay plan that is a unilevel hybrid. It offers many perks to each category of affiliate, including rapid rewards for grassroots distributors to see a quick return on investment. That is very important. And infinity and group bonuses for those heavy hitters to earn on every product order that's made on their team, no matter how far down the order is, because usually heavy hitters either bring in a lot of people and want to earn on every product order made in their downline, or they end up having a very, very large team where they need all of those percentages. So when we talk about a balanced pay plan, balance doesn't mean equal. That doesn't mean everybody gets 2%.
Right.
It means for every category, there is a balance and everybody leaves satisfied, is what we mean by balance.
Right.
You want to take the next point?
Point B.
Yes.
A compensation plan that encourages the transition from one rank to the next.
Yes.
So this is what Mike says. He said, 4Life has a seamless compensation plan that allows a distributor to move through the ranks with ease. The requirements for each rank take into consideration the requirements for the next rank, essentially thinking ahead for the distributor, allowing them to rank up should they want to.
Yeah, that's very important. So you're always set up
Yeah.
for the next rank once you reach the rank that you just reached.
Right.
So that's very important. Okay, the next point, a compensation plan that encourages distributors to work with the distributors and customers that they have brought into the program.
Mhm.
So this will encourage that retention that you want while discouraging something called cluster growth. So
yeah.
4Life has a 3-level volume requirement for 12 out of 14 ranks. Now, do not let that bum you out, okay? Because this is a very important part of reducing that attrition in your business that so many people in this industry experience.
Yeah.
So if you enroll people in your business and don't help them achieve success, you will have to continually build back up what you have lost.
Right.
That's why it's important to foster retention in your team. So the 3-level volume requirement is used to push those heavy hitters that bring in a lot of people to assist the individuals that they bring into 4Life, because experienced networkers can develop systems and strategies to help those grassroots distributors become successful, bringing in anywhere from 50 to 100 distributors.
Yeah.
And often they skip over some of those to work with individuals anywhere in their organization, maybe on their 5th through 10th levels or even deeper, leaving the rest of those people that they brought in without support.
Right.
So they usually call these individuals runners. It's a very well-known term in this industry. And this process creates cluster growth around those runners.
Right.
So cluster growth will create attrition between the distributor and each of their runners. And remember, attrition works its way from the grassroots to the heavy hitter. So attrition will cause heavy hitters to leave companies and companies to go out of business.
Right.
It's very, very important to foster retention, and duplication is a very important part of fostering that retention. And we will talk about that later. So you want the next point?
Sure. So a pay plan that increases the percentage of distributors that can be in profit. You will notice that Mike said percentage. The number of distributors and profit is not as important as the percentage. Even if you have a 1 million distributors in profit, but only 100,000 earning any money,
Right.
you will still fail or fight attrition for decades.
Right, exactly. He says the strategy behind 4Life's pay plan addresses this challenge by paying 25% on the second level. Now, there's 2 companies at the time that he wrote this, which wasn't that long ago. He said there's 2 companies out there that claim to pay more on the second level. But if you consider the gap between the points usually referred to as CV or LP or BV, there's many different terms we refer to as LP in 4Life, versus the wholesale cost, they do not pay more.
Right.
When you consider that gap between the points and the wholesale price. So paying 25% allows an affiliate to get into profit with 5 enrollments, but also is used as an incentive to help the individuals on your first level work with the individuals on their first level, freeing up your time and fostering that duplication, both of which will lead to higher retention within your team. So as an example, okay, let's say Bob, I'll be Bob, I enroll or I purchase 100 LP worth of product, and I enroll Sally here.
Sally.
Yeah, hi Sally. And she also orders 100 LP. I work with Sally to enroll 4 team members in her team at 100 LP on her front line. Bob, me, is now breaking even on my 100 LP product purchase. Okay. So there are companies out there that pay 5 and 10% on all levels. Okay. Because with 4Life, we pay 2%, 25%, 5%. Some people are like, why do you do that? There's always a reason. There's always a strategy behind every aspect of the 4Life compensation plan. So So some companies pay 5% or 10% all the way down. And some people think, well, that's great. That's fantastic. That sounds like more money for me. Let's give you another example. Let's say I enroll and purchase 100 LP worth of product. I enroll Sally and she purchases 100 LP in product. I now have to help Sally enroll 9 people at 100 PV or 100 LP each to break even on my own purchase.
Right.
So For-Life's compensation plan pays out that 25% on the second level to encourage members to help their immediate downline.
Yeah.
So this is why you saw Bob help Sally enroll 4 members on her front line, because this not only makes it easier for me to break even, but it also encourages consistent growth throughout an organization. This helps to retain a higher percentage of leaders and eliminates cluster growth because leaders are working with their leaders.
Yeah.
Remember, when you have higher retention, that means that you don't have to go back and rebuild everything that you're losing.
Right.
So, as a side note, I know some people are very familiar with binaries. So Mike shares on binaries. He says binaries are deceptive. There were thousands of binaries in the late 80s and 90s, and only about half a dozen survived. In the 2000s, they were making a comeback. Heavy hitters like binaries, but it creates massive attrition.
Yep.
The average networker loses in binaries, and when an average networker loses in a compensation plan, attrition gains traction. And you don't want that.
No.
You want retention. You want duplication in your team.
Yeah.
Because something that people don't really think about all the time is if you're not fostering that duplication, you're going to be the person always having to do the work. You're never going to have your time free to be able to be proactive and not reactive in your team. You know, you're really going to be spending all of your time doing things that are kind of unnecessary. If you teach, it's like that, that saying, if someone's hungry and you give them a fish, you feed them for a day, but if you teach them how to fish, you feed them for a lifetime.
Like that.
Right? So teach your people how to survive without you, which is actually really important because you're actually building up their belief in themselves. I've said this before, when you position yourself as the knower of all, they're going to always come to you. They're never going to feel like they can learn everything that you have learned.
Right.
You have to make them feel like they can see themselves doing this, give them a vision of them seeing themselves doing this, and fostering that duplication. Part of that is teaching them how to do certain things, showing them, and then letting them show their people.
Right.
So what's the next point?
The next one is super important, and that is an effective customer service. This is vital for your success. When you have questions or need assistance, it's a great selling point and a great help in general when you have a team of people at the corporate facility ready to answer your questions. If you have trouble with an order, you can call them up and they are ready to answer.
Yep.
And Mike said, this is what he had to say. For-Life has an excellent customer service. They have live agents ready to help you with a phone call or on live chat. They also have an email you can use if you prefer that method of contact. If you have any questions on products, you can contact them via phone, live chat, or email as well.
Absolutely. Even enrolling individuals, you can call them up and they will help walk you and the new person through the enrollment, get their product purchase placed, and just get the person all set up. And if you have questions, like you said, if you have questions on products, you can submit your questions and they will get back to you with answers. I always thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
That they were so ready to help people learn more about the products. Okay, our next point, a company that manufactures its own products. Now that might seem kind of weird. Like, why would that be important? We'll tell you. So Mike shares that companies that have to outsource manufacturing are more vulnerable. So a general manufacturing company may manufacture products for dozens and even hundreds of companies. A network marketing company will have to anticipate what sales will be in 6 months, 1 year, sometimes even 18 months. Network marketing companies are notorious for growth spurts. So that could cause back orders, which can cause a company to lose distributors and customers. So companies that depend on outsourcing their manufacturing are definitely more vulnerable to failure.
Right.
So what did Mike share on this?
Mike shared, and I was getting ready to say this point, but then I was like, Mike already said it. 4Life manufactures its own products in its own manufacturing facility. This allows them to control the quality, purity, and strength of their products, ensuring that each bottle product is the same as the last batch. They want to make sure that every single batch they make is perfect, which I appreciate.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's really cool that if a study has been done on the product, you're getting the same exact, quantity of each ingredient.
Right.
They have a whole process. I think they said they have over 20 tests that they do on every single batch of product just to make sure that everything is exactly the way that it's supposed to be.
Right.
I always thought that was really cool.
What's the next one?
The next one, a strong legal team. Now that might also sound weird. Why
And
is
scary.
that important? Yeah, and very scary. A lot of people think of a legal team as kind of the bad guys when it comes to marketing. You want to say something like this and they're like, absolutely not, that'll get us in trouble.
Yeah.
But if you really think about it, a strong legal team is very good for your future. It ensures that a company will be around 10 years from now. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through what Mike shares on this.
What you call receipts.
Right? Yes,
because there's a lot.
We have receipts here and very good examples. Okay, so Mike shares a number of companies have been put out of business or heavily fined by the FDA or FTC. A lot of people are very familiar with the FDA and the FTC here in this industry. So a strong legal team is vital to our future and protecting our incomes. There are several examples of this. So on July 15th, 2016, Herbalife agreed to pay $200 million to settle U.S. claims that the nutrition company deceived customers with get-rich-quick promises as the U.S. government forced sweeping changes to the company's business, but stopped short of hedge fund manager Bill Ackman's call to shut it down. That was scary. This is an example of why I don't believe companies should go public. This stockholder almost sank Herbalife. Stockholders have one thing in mind: how much they can earn. This is also an example of a legal team not being on the ball.
Right.
He shares that 4Life's legal team has sent numerous letters warning distributors about treatment and cure claims as well as income claims. Also, 4Life management is aggressive in getting the proper understanding to its distributors and customers.
Right.
I also want to mention on this point of going public, Mike shared with me last week or the week before when we were doing, putting these outlines together. He said that when he first met with David before enrolling in 4Life, that David told him he would never go public with this company. And look, 23 years later, it still has never gone public. He kept his promise.
So Zynga was founded in 2002 and was acquired by Zija International in May 2017. Okay, do you want to share why that
happened?
Why that happened?
For sure. So why did that happen? Building fast is not always solid. So distributors had to adjust to a different pay plan because Zynga used a 9-level multi-level marketing structure, while Zija uses a binary pay plan that Mike had just spoken about a little bit ago, and different policies and procedures. So wrong strategies can lead to attrition, which creates challenges for the company's management, eventually leading to collapse or selling out, both of which are terrible for distributors. Zango's legal representation was lacking. So the company was warned in 2006 by the FDA for illegally marketing more than 20 human health benefits for Zango juice.
That's a lot.
That's crazy. So Zango was warned that it could face enforcement action, including seizure and or injunction of products or suspension of business. That's crazy.
Wow.
So in 2011, Italy's Antitrust and Consumer Protection Authority, or the AGCM, suspended the activities of Zango in response to overbroad health claims, as well as possible violations of pyramid scheme laws. So a strong legal department, along with founders that care more about their distributors than themselves, may have saved that company.
Right.
Now, another example, FTC, okay? They announced a case against Advocare International, an MLM seller of health and wellness products. Under the settlement, Advocare agreed to be banned, that's crazy, banned from multi-level marketing and pay $150 million.
That's a lot of change.
That's a lot. Advocare and its distributors claimed the company offered a life-changing financial solution that would allow any ordinary person to earn unlimited income, attain financial freedom, and quit their regular job. So in reality, the FTC says most distributors earned nothing or even lost money. Those are some crazy claims.
Yeah.
We could never get away with that in ForLife, and we should be glad.
Right.
Obviously, you see what happened with, the result.
150 million, that's a lot.
Yeah. And what did it say? What else? Banned from multi-level marketing. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. The next example, the FTC announced a lawsuit against Miura LLC, formerly known, as a lot of people know it as, Miriam International LLC. So the FTC alleges that Miura, an international multi-level marketing company that sells dietary supplements, skin creams, and other products, is an illegal pyramid scheme. The FTC also alleges that it deceptively promotes its Miriam EHT dietary supplement by making unproven claims that it is a breakthrough antidote for serious brain diseases. Could not get away with that in ForLife either, which we should be glad about, because obviously that is a result of making claims like that. It's very important to stick with ForLife's policies and procedures. They don't say these things just for their own, they do say it for their own benefit, but also there's always a reason that they're saying these type of things. They want to protect this. We all know how amazing transfer factors work. Okay. Why would we want to strangle that gift that we've been given by shouting things that could get us closed down and have no access to transfer factors?
Right.
Okay. What's the last one? Point E.
And point I will add.
Yes.
So the last point.
Go ahead.
Was that professional networkers, because it is confusing when you're trying to, develop a business, what you can say. And we developed something called the 50 things you can say about ForLife, which
very true.
If I remember when I'm editing, I can put a link to that maybe in there.
Yeah, it should be on the DiamondsR4Life store. So Diamonds R, the letter R, the number 4, lifestore.com. It's in the book section of that.
Thank you.
Good plug. Okay, you want to do point E?
Sure. On April 7th, 2017, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, also known as FDA, issued a warning to LifeVantage and 13 other MLM companies running them that their distributors are making false and misleading claims about their products. The above examples could have been avoided if each of these companies had a strong legal department. I'm very thankful for ForLife's legal department, and you can actually email them and say, hey, is this okay to say?
Yes.
And they will tell you yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am.
They even say if you get no response, take that as a no, just to be protective, more protective.
Yes.
So 4Life is definitely protecting its distributors through a very strong and effective legal department.
Right.
So overall, Mike shares most network marketers are at the mercy of factors within a program that they are not aware of. As a conventional businessman, humanitarian, and minister, I looked at a broader range of factors than many leaders have during my over 50 years in this industry.
Yeah.
So this is one reason why I financed the 3.5-year study. We talk about the study all the time. As a side note, we talk about the study all the time. If you want information on the study, we would be happy to give you information. These are actually the points that have been found in that study.
Yeah.
So you're already learning a lot about it. But there is a booklet called The Cold Facts Exposed that you can get a copy of that gives an even more in-depth look at the study.
It's a good book.
So he says, my estimate based on the organizations I have developed and the genealogies that the study examined is that 40% of all participants will become only product users. 30% of networkers would like to earn an income, but will never find the time, the money, or situation to develop a nice income.
Right.
Approximately 10% of participants will develop enough money to pay for their products or a little more, and 20% are determined to develop an income, and if they don't, will move on to another program. So these percentages do not include retail sales. It's important that an opportunity satisfies each of these categories. Many companies struggle for many years because they don't address these issues. Some of the billion-dollar companies did not solve these issues, but introduced a new category of products.
Right.
But many of those billion-dollar companies would not have survived in today's market if they wouldn't have started in the past couple of decades. So ushering in a new revolution of health and wellness products, that'll give you a fast ticket to success. But if you're missing one of these factors, then you cannot rely on a long-term success with that company.
Exactly.
Something will eventually crumble.
Yeah.
And that's a side note from what Mike said. So he says, why are they still viable? Why are they still viable?
There is a high turnover rate. He is stating why they are viable. There is a high turnover rate, even within billion-dollar companies. These companies go through millions of distributors until they have enough customers that are loyal to the products. Many emphasize retail sales, or some companies develop strong loyalty to the company or a cause. Amway introduced entrepreneurship for the average person to our society.
Yes. So he shares, you have the unique opportunity to introduce a new category of products into this market that only happens every so many decades. And you have a company that has all of the success factors that we've talked about. So he said, I believe, based on my experience and the study, that 4Life Research will be a multi-billion-dollar company someday that will last your lifetime, and you can pass it down to your children and to their children. Will it be easy? No, but it's doable.
Yeah.
And it's time to give it your best effort. We are here for you. There will be ups and downs, but keep persistent and consistent.
I love that.
Yeah.
We should make that a quote.
Right?
Yeah.
It's really good. You will make it. Someday we will meet at some resort and share our stories on how we got there. I always love that.
Yeah.
So, in conclusion to this 3-part series, now that you know the factors that lead to a company and an affiliate success, they go hand in hand, you will not only be able to answer questions about what is different about this opportunity versus the hundreds of other opportunities out there, but you can believe in the fact that you are part of a company that gives you the best chance at achieving success in this industry.
Wow.
That is a mic drop right there.
A mic drop,
blown.
literally.
Yeah. Because it was from Mike. That's funny. All right, guys. Well, that is all that we had for this time. I hope that you enjoyed this series and you learned a lot from it. Feel free to leave some questions and comments and feedback in the comment section. We always read your comments and are very joyous when we read them. So we will see you guys next time. Remember, we have product training tomorrow. We're going over essential fatty acid complex. And we have prospecting training on Thursday. All events at 8 p.m. Central Time. We'll see you guys then. It's been real.
It's been fun.
It's also been real fun. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.